Hey everyone, I am Robin the Copy Bitch. This is Stewie, my sidekick sloth, and today we are going to talk about how to write a Contact Us page. Okay, you might think it's the Contact Us page. What else do we need to say aside from Contact Us? Well, here's the thing. You don't want to do that because that's a lost opportunity. The Contact Us page tends to be one of the most trafficked pages on a business website, and that's actually not surprising because if the person who goes to the site is interested in the product, the service, or the cause, and they want to get in touch with the company, whether it's through an email or request a demo or call or whatever it is, they're going to go over to that Contact Us page and you're going to have a lot of eyeballs on it. So you're going to want to actually think very carefully about what you want on this page, just like you do every other page. So tip number 1 for the Contact Us page, don't do it last. I know you might be thinking, well, I have to do the home page, I want to do the services page, I have to do the products pages. You know what? I actually start most of my website projects with the Contact Us page, which probably sounds a little like, what? Why would you do that? The reason why is because it is so hyper-focused. It's going to be shorter copy. Even though it is an important page, it will have shorter copy. But it's a good way to kind of like just get into the voice of what the brand is and just kind of optimize it for a keyword phrase and get the feel. I can always go back and change it. But because it's a shorter page, I can get it done faster and then I feel like, okay, check mark, 1 page done. Usually I do the home page last. So I do things a little bit backwards, although really not probably the case. Most writers probably do things that way too, where you keep the home page for last and you do all the other pages, because the home page is the most important page. The Contact Us page, by doing it first, doesn't mean it's not important. It just means that I can kind of, slowly get into, the project and get situated. So when you're doing the Contact Us page, don't necessarily do it last. I mean, if you do, you do you. It's up to you how you want to do things, but I always do it first. Always optimize it for a keyword phrase. It should never just be like Contact Us because, again, lost opportunity. You want to have a compelling and clear headline because if someone lands on this Contact Us page and they're ready to contact, that's great. But what about that person who goes to the Contact Us page but they have second thoughts? And they're like, maybe I shouldn't, maybe the price is not what it should be, or I don't know what the price is. Can I afford this? Have I done my due diligence? You want to alleviate their concerns. You want to make them feel good about contacting. So having a compelling headline that speaks to that helps to get past that initial hesitation or whatever it is, or to remind them why your client's company is so awesome. I'm having trouble talking today. To remind your client, to remind your audience as to why your client's company is so awesome can be a good thing to do on the Contact Us page. So having a clear headline, have some copy to reinforce what the headline is about. Doesn't have to be long. It shouldn't be long. You don't want to have a long bloated page because you want to make sure you give the information about how to contact. Tip number 2, give people options as to how they can contact. This is going to be a little bit challenging because your client has to actually play ball in order to make this work. It is the worst thing in the world when you go to a Contact Us page and you submit a form and you have no idea if it's actually gone anywhere and you never hear from the company. And how often does that happen? It happens a lot, especially with small businesses. So you want to make sure that if you do give multiple options for contact, which I think you should do, that the client is prepared to monitor emails coming in, to check the forms coming in, that the forms are actually working and they're actually getting them and they're actually being forwarded to an email address that somebody checks. So after the contact page is set up, make sure you and other people actually fill out the form a few times and make sure it's operating the way everyone is expecting it to. So at the minimum, I always recommend doing a form. People are very used to filling out forms. It can be a great way to get information that you're looking for. You can make recommendations as a copywriter as to what should go on the form, and you want to think through those form fields carefully because it's going to vary business to business. Some businesses, you might have the bare bones, name and email, phone number, but usually on the Contact Us page, I feel you can ask for more because people are showing their willingness and interest in the company. So that's the place to ask for information that makes sense for your client's business and for the sale to take the next step. You don't have to ask for everything, but asking for a little bit more information makes sense. So think through those form fields and make suggestions to your client accordingly. You'll also want to make sure that you're clear about phone number, email, what your preference is or what the client's preference is. For example, for me, I give people options of form, email, and phone number, but I always tell them on the page that I prefer email or the form because I can get information that way and then I can come to that first conversation that we have better prepared. So that's just my preference. If the client is not ready to play ball, or if you just don't have faith that there's someone on the back end to monitor the emails or to monitor the forms coming in, then make it just one form of contact. Just make sure it works, whatever that is, whether it's phone, email, etc. Okay, so those are some tips to follow. The other thing the Contact Us page should do is give people other ways to connect with the company and a reason for sticking around and checking out other areas of the site. So you more than likely, or your client site will more than likely have the social media links in the footer or the courtesy area at the top of the site, or both places, and that's great. But the Contact Us page is a place to really kind of bring the social media accounts to the forefront and encourage people to follow and to engage. Because that way, again, you can then continue to market to them if they're connected to your LinkedIn feed or your Instagram account or whatever it is. Your client's Instagram account is what I mean. So that's a good thing to do on a Contact Us page, bring the social media icons more to the forefront, or you can talk about, the social media account that you want people to follow. The other thing to do is to think about if someone does submit a form, for example, what happens next? First of all, they should receive some sort of confirmation on the screen that says that their form was submitted successfully, because that's like the worst feeling in the world when you submit a form and nothing happens. And you're like, did it go through? Did it not go through? So some sort of thank you screen or redirected to a thank you page is always a good best practice. But the other thing that you'll want to do is give people a reason to stay on the site. So give them another piece of content that will really be helpful to them. What might be helpful to someone who's on the Contact Us page is an FAQ page if you have it. Like if you have a good, robust FAQ page, that could be a great page to send people to because they can get, additional answers to questions that might be bubbling around in their head until they actually talk to someone. If your client doesn't have an FAQ page, you could recommend that and you could write it and you could charge for it. You could also send people to a piece of great blog content, maybe one of your most popular articles or one of your most helpful articles about the products or services, something like that. Just give people a reason to stick around and not immediately navigate away like to a competitor site. Okay, so here's a question. Do I follow my own advice? I would never share anything on these videos or my blog posts if it wasn't something I believed in and that I didn't follow or that I didn't recommend to clients. So but did I say that right? Were my negatives right? You know what I mean? Like I try to follow my own advice. I might fail sometimes. I don't always necessarily do the best practices, but I try. So right now we're going to put me to the test and I'm going to flip over to myself on Zoom and we're going to look at my Contact Us page and see if it follows my advice. And we're back. Can she follow her own advice? So I would never recommend anything to my clients or to new copywriters or to any copywriters out there if I weren't following the same advice. So let's actually test me and see how my contact page does in comparison with the tips I just gave you. So here we are, etrobbins.com. That is my business, Robin Bradley, ET Robbins Productions. The name is, there's kind of a long story behind it. Basically, I've always wanted to be a writer. When my niece and nephew were learning to talk, I was actually pretty close in age with them. I was 8, they were, whatever they were, 2. And they had a hard time wrapping their tongues around the word Auntie Robin. And they used to say E.T. Robbins. And I said in my wisdom at 8 that would be my pen name someday. Ended up using it as my business name. So there you go. I just put that out there, because sometimes it can be a little bit of a disconnect. Someone's like, E.T. Robbins, Robin Bradley, what is that? Anyhow, that's the background on this. And now we're on my contact page. So my home page is here, boom, and then contact page is here. And yes, I know people hate carousels, whatever, don't come after me. So content copywriter is the keyword phrase that I'm going for. This is also a great place to still optimize copy. So you want to, make sure that you get in a keyword phrase, because this is one of your most trafficked pages. You never know how people are going to come into. So that's another reason why you want to have a robust Contact Us page, because if someone comes in via a keyword phrase just from organic search and they land on your contact page first, which is not necessarily unusual, you want to make sure you situate them as to who you are, what you're doing, so that then they are encouraged to click around, even if they're not ready to contact. So content copywriter, people can understand what that is, whether they agree with my definition or not. That's for another story or video. And if you've watched enough of my videos, if you visited my site, you know that I have a very casual style, a casual style, conversational style, an irreverent style, cheeky. So you probably get that feel here just with the copy. And I have lots of these pictures of myself from childhood throughout my site just to kind of make it, like I said, a little more fun, a little cheeky. I can do that. So do I cover the points? I have the keyword phrase. I have some copy. You don't have to include an image. For my site, it makes sense. I include multiple ways for people to get in touch. So I have phone number, I have email address, I have my follow me icons that are prominently featured, even though they're also up in the courtesy area and also down in the footer. There's more blog copy or blog posts, links to blog posts if people want to, do a little more reading. I kind of lay out what people can expect. So, get in touch with me, my email address, fill out the form or call. And I actually tell people what I prefer, and I think that's perfectly okay. I do prefer an email or a form rather than a phone call, because my goal is to get people to tell me more about their project so we can have a more productive first conversation. For my business, that actually makes sense. Sometimes, calling makes more sense. It depends on the business, but for me, it does make more sense. So I try to encourage people to do that. But if they pick up the phone and call, they got to choose what's best for them ultimately. And then I also have kind of set expectations by saying, if you don't get a response to your email or form within 2 business days, definitely call. So that right there, that sets an expectation that they should hear from me within 48 hours. And usually it's a lot sooner than that. I try to aim for that, but this gives some wiggle room. And I have a contact form. It doesn't ask for a lot. I probably could ask for more, and I'm thinking about possibly doing that, but names required, email, and then tell me about your project. And I'm finding that people don't always tell me the details I'm looking for. So I might want to rethink some of these fields and possibly maybe include a few more to get more of the information I'm looking for. And I include some social proof. I have a nice testimonial here in case someone's hesitant, that, from a business owner, and they can click over to the site if they want to see it. So I think I kind of covered what I recommended in my How to Write a Contact Us page. And there you go. So now I'm going to throw it back to myself and Stewie. So there you have it. Hopefully between the tips I provided on how to write a Contact Us page and looking at mine in real time, you get a sense of how to write a great Contact Us page for your clients. If you did find this video helpful, please give us a thumbs up, because that helps us out. I'm Robin the Copy Bitch. This is Stewie, my sidekick sloth. And we'll see you next time. Bye.